Jafar, you have just come through a very painful breakup. And it's normal for your subconscious to pursue the road not taken. And I would suggest that's why George Tucker is appearing in your face because he's grown up to hell and thus unable to trust you. See, just he is the man who in your dreams.
Way down. Push those deep into my way down. Push those. Not smart. Patient of the day, very first.
Okay. You're acting weird.
You're acting weird. That's great. Keeps you have fun. So, Miss Crane, you're applying to be the cook?
Do you have any experience?
Not if you mean professionally, but I watch every food show on TV. I made all the Pauline's recipes for my grandfather. I put them in the blender since he has no teeth, but his taste buds are still going strong. Well, let's see. But if I'm going to work here, I have some demands. I can only accept this job if this one can avoid hitting on me. Too skinny.
That'll be tough.
And you have to install TV in the kitchen, preferably with Oprah Winfrey Network. And I take every religious holiday off. In every religion, you have to let me. It's the law.
I think every time. Are you sure? That's what we're talking about.
Rick, I told you, I'm only here to show my support. I just want to read my sports section from time to time. Okay, thanks a lot for giving me out of Shakespeare rehearsal.
Interesting. But why don't you
Perfect. Sometimes when I send it from my computer, I have issues with the links. So this is perfect. It's working. Everything's good. Perfect. We're good. Everything's working. I can't hear your audio, but we're good. We good. Everything's working.
Hear anything?
You're there. I can hear you. It's delayed because of sometimes when I send it from my computer, I have issues with it's delayed because of YouTube. Everything's good.
Okay. All right, cool.
Bye. Perfect. We're good. Everything's working.
Bye-bye. Yeah, that's okay.
We good. Everything's working.
Yeah.
आपके लिए इंसान की आत्म संतान की प्रेम प्रदान जो निशान डोली ये लाल जैन डोली विष्णु ब्रह्मचारी थी अर्जुन धनुषधारी थी राम आज्ञाकारी थी भीम बलकारी थी विक्रमकारी करण दिया उदारी डोली ये लाल जैन डोली ये लाल दुष्टन लाए काल की धर्म रखवाल
Hello, sir.
क्या हो रहा है?
Nothing on YouTube too.
लाल की नाम में न्याय
I
You arrived, Kiran. How was the traffic?
Traffic wasn't bad.
Good. So what time did you leave?
We left at about 12 o'clock.
That's good.
Where are you? Kentucky?
No, Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Oh, with your granddaughter.
You got it. You
got it.
Yeah.
So what time you made it there, Ramji? You came back?
What time we came? 5 o'clock? 4 o'clock?
It took us 3 hours and 45 minutes.
3 hours and 45 minutes.
So 4:45. Okay. That's good. Good timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
We're
There's
live
some
on YouTube
traffic.
already too,
There
guys.
was construction, the construction and all that too.
Yeah.
So,
But still, it was not bad.
no, otherwise not bad. No.
Okay.
Traffic was moving, but slow down with construction.
We're waiting for Musa. Musa to come.
That's right. I remember that.
Musa is coming. I hope so.
3 minutes. The YouTube
Okay, Manju, 1 second.
is delayed.
That's
Huh?
I want something.
What's the name of the company she works for?
Manjari,
Huh?
do you hear me?
Yeah?
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
She said yes.
Yes, she said yes.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Okay. Well, ask the question.
What's the
Which
name
company
of
do
the
you work for?
Acadia.
Manju?
Yeah, she said.
Acadia?
She's talking.
Acadia. She got it.
Okay. Thank you.
Technically, Daddy works for them too.
Hmm. Should I go there?
Hi, Mommy.
Hello, Manju.
How are you, Mommy?
I'm fine, Manju.
Good.
Better हैं दीदी? सो रहे हैं.
You said she had a rough night.
Sometimes it just, there's nothing. Otherwise, just like that.
Yeah. Sometimes when they get too tired, also they can't sleep. Yeah, she had a long day.
2 minutes to go.
Like last night, she didn't sleep good.
शशि तुमने जो पद्म पुराण वाला भी वो तुम्हारे फेसबुक उसका अंग्रेजी ट्रांसलेशन कहाँ मिलेगा?
मतलब वो फेसबुक पे देखा था, पता नहीं है भाई, देखते हैं, मालूम करेंगे.
You know what that stupid Trump is going to do.
This is just our family and Chacha and Kiran uncle. And now, yeah.
How many G's are here?
Yeah, we're getting more people now.
Next time.
Where is Mushik?
1 minute.
That was beautiful for me.
Yeah, she just.
And I usually won. So it lasts longer. Yeah, I can swap if I have to. Sometimes I listen to music for a couple of hours from YouTube. So
You're back on this.
that's okay.
Where is Musa?
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mute everybody and hope if Musa's not here in the next 30 seconds, Baya, you'll lead then, okay?
It's 7:30 now.
Baya,
Yeah.
Yeah.
are you there? Are you ready to lead then? Let me mute everybody.
Yeah, here comes Musa is here.
Okay, hold on. Your Musa's back up. Musa in the nick of time, buddy. Nick of time. Okay,
Okay.
1 second. I've asked you guys to unmute yourselves, Abhishek and Musa.
Got it.
Excellent. Musa, you there?
Yep.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Namaste Saraswati Devim Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine
Namaste Saraswati Devim Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastacha Deshatarine
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, oh Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada
Jaya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada
Jaya Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Jaya Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada
Jaya Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Jaya Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada
Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva
Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva. Musa, will you remain my backup for Yashomati Nandan?
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Yashomati Nandana Brajabaranagara Gokula Ranjana Gana
Yashomati Nandana Prajabaranagara Gokula Ranjana Kana
Yashomati Nandana Brajabaranagara Gokula Ranjana Gana
Yashomati Nandana Brajabaranagara Gokula Ranjana Kana
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara
Gopi Paranadana Madana Manohara
Kaliyadamana Vidana
Kaliyadamana Vidana
Kaliyadamana Vidana
Kaliyadamana Vidana
Amala Harina Mamiya Vilasa
Amala Harinama Miya Vilasa
Amala Harina Mamiya Vilasa
Amala Harinama Miya Vilasa
Vipina Purandara Navina Nagara Bara
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 Vamsi Vadana Suvasa
Ram Sivadana Suvasa
Vamsi Vadana Suvasa
Ram Sivadana Suvasa
Rajajana Palana Surakula Nasana
Rajajana Palana Surakula Nasana
Rajajana Palana Surakula Nasana
Rajajana Palana Surakula Nasana
Nanda Godana Rakovala
Nanda Godana Rakovala
Nanda Godana Rakovala
Nanda Godana Rakovala
Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara.
Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara.
Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara.
Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskara.
Sundarananda Gopala.
Sundarananda Gopala.
Sundarananda Gopala.
Sundarananda Gopala.
Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanahara.
Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanahara.
Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanahara.
Yamuna Tatachara Gopi Vasanahara.
Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya.
Rasarasika Kripa Moya.
Rasa Rasika Kripa Moya.
Rasarasika Kripa Moya.
Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavana Natavara.
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 Bhakti Vinodashraya.
Bhakti Vinodashraya.
Bhakti Vinodashraya.
Bhakti Vinodashraya.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Natavara, Radha Natavara Radhe.
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 Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai.
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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Shri Shri Radha Natfar ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you.
Translation.
Hmm?
Translation of Yasumati Nandan.
I think we're okay. Musa, you want to read?
I have it right here. I can read it.
Go ahead, you read. Go ahead.
Lord Krishna is the beloved son of Mother Yashoda, the transcendental lover in the land of Vraja, the delight of Gokul, Kana, a nickname of Krishna, the wealth of the lives of the gopis. He steals the mind of even Cupid and punishes the Kaliya serpent. These pure holy names of Lord Hari are full of sweet nectarian pastimes. Krishna is the Lord of the 12 forests of Vraja. He is ever youthful and is the best of lovers. He is always playing on a flute and he is an excellent dresser. Krishna is the protector of the inhabitants of Vraja, the destroyer of various demonic dynasties, the keeper and tender of Nanda Maharaj's cows, the giver of pleasure to the cows, land, and spiritual senses, the husband of the goddess of fortune, the butter thief, and the beautiful coward boy of Nanda Maharaj. Krishna wanders along the banks of the river Yamuna. He stole the garments of the young damsels of Vraja who were bathing there. He delights in the mellows of the rasa dance. He is very merciful, the lover and beloved of Srimati Radharani, the great dancer of Vrindavan, and the shelter and only refuge of Thakur Bhakti Vinod.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Unmuted. Raj?
Hare Krishna.
Hey Krishna Raj, just one little thing about YouTube. It looks like it's about like a minute and a half delay from what's live to what's going on YouTube. So just let whoever's on YouTube, they'll hear that. So that's a little bit delayed. It looks like we have 5 people streaming through YouTube.
My God. Okay.
Finally to work.
Yeah. If I guess it doesn't matter because any other kind of interaction we have will probably be like about 20-minute delay or 1 hour delay.
Maybe. Raj, if you want to share screen, I can give you access to if you want to display anything.
I do.
Okay, let me give it to you.
You have so much power.
Okay. All right, Raj, you can go ahead and share screen, Raj. I've given access.
Zoom will start capturing everything that's displayed on your screen. Start now.
Yeah, it is. Perfect.
90 degrees.
90 degrees in Murfreesboro.
Yeah.
Warm.
Okay, here's my Twitter. Okay. Database. Okay. Because everybody should know about Database. Everybody should use Database.io. And our disciple, Prahlad Nrsimha, in Korea, Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic. He runs it. A very nice devotee. And you can make donations. And also you can help because, for example, like you can learn how to put the text up and stuff like that, different languages. Okay, let's go ahead here then and look at the library. Look at the Krishna book. This is really the first book we got from Srila Prabhupada. It was very, very nice. Like they said, every book is designated. Who's going to get it? And one place in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying he can't sit down, he can't stand up, he has to kind of squat while he writes. His hands are shaking. He has 4 kinds of diseases. He could die at any moment. But still, the miracle is that Chaitanya Charitamrita is going on. And then Srila Prabhupada in the purport says, I am almost invalid because of arthritis. I have had heart attacks, everything else. But I have translated and given a summary study of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the essence of all the Vedic culture, all the Vedic literature.
So if I depart, people will have the essence like that. So it's very hard to, it's impossible to overestimate the value of the Krishna book. The first one we got, we were at the UC Davis, University of California Davis campus. It's the agricultural campus in between Sacramento and San Francisco. They have a university hog barns and cows, National Primate Center. So they started a whole Earth Day, and there, I think it went on there for maybe 2-3 years before it caught other places. And devotees were there. One guy was all brahmachari outfit, and he was just giving this fanatic, presentation. I should buy the book. And it's so funny, I bought it, and it was the big Krishna book, 8.5 by 11, with 13.5 point type. And when the type is that big, your mind focuses on every letter, every word. Smaller than that, you kind of just don't see the words. You just kind of, that big. So it's very iconographic. When I got it, I would read it I would go over it again and again. And I didn't really know who the devotees were, really anything. But such a wonderful experience. The pictures, the original pictures were just like an LSD trip or something. They were just a different world. And very, very iconographic, simple, but so intense. So anyway, I was looking at let's look at the very, very last chapter here. Okay. Chapter 90, summary description of Lord Krishna's pastimes. Okay. After returning, okay, let's chant. I'll chant here. You can chant in your own house there. Krishna, 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 hey. 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 Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Krishna, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rama, Raghava, Rakshamam. Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Krishna, Keshava, Pahimam. And that's in the introduction to the Krishna book. As you can chant that all day long. So, Prabhupada says, after returning from the spiritual kingdom, which he was able to visit personally with Krishna, Arjuna was very much astonished. He thought to himself that although he was only an ordinary living entity, by the grace of Krishna, it had been possible for him to see the spiritual world. Not only had he seen the spiritual world, but he had also personally seen the original Mahavishnu. Wow. The cause of the material creation. It is said that Krishna never goes out of Vrindavan. Vrindavanam parityaja pada ekam agachati. Krishna is supreme in Mathura. He is more supreme in Dwarka. And he is most supreme in Vrindavan. Yes, Monosito. Krishna's pastimes in Dwarka are displayed by his Vasudev portion. Yet there is no difference between the Vasudev portion manifested in Mathura and Dwarka and the original manifestation of Krishna in Vrindavan. In the beginning of this book, we have discussed that when Krishna appears, all his incarnations, plenary portions, and portions of plenary portions come with him. Thus, as some of his different pastimes are manifested not by the original Krishna, but by his expansions. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead here. Many questions. Okay.
Raj, if anyone has questions, they can just unmute themselves too.
Oh no, okay, I'm just going ahead with the
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, skipping ahead here because that Arjuna, there are many questions about how Mahavishnu could put the Brahmana in trouble in Dwarka when Krishna was personally present. So many interesting questions. Actually, if you read Prabhupada's books, you'll have more questions after you read them than when you started. You know, so somebody may say, "Well, why should we read Prabhupada's books then?" So, of course, that's one of the questions. Concluding portion, the concluding portion of Krishna's pastimes is found in the 90th chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In this chapter, Shukadeva Goswami wanted to explain how Krishna lived happily at Dwarka with all opulences. My goodness, he had HBO. What else? A Lamborghini. What are opulences in the material world? He bought Michael Jackson's home. Krishna's opulences of strength has already been displayed in his different pastimes. And now it will be shown how his residence in Dwarka displayed his opulence of wealth and beauty. In this material world, the opulences of wealth and beauty are considered the highest of all opulences, but they are only a perverted reflection of these opulences in the spiritual world. Therefore, while Krishna stayed on this planet as the supreme personality of Godhood, his opulences of wealth and beauty had no comparison within the three worlds. Krishna enjoyed 16,000 beautiful wives. And it was most significant that he lived at Dwarka as the only husband of these thousands of beautiful women. This is specifically stated that he was the only husband of 16,000 wives. It is, of course, not unheard of in the history of the world that a powerful king would keep many hundreds of queens. But although such a king might be the only husband of so many wives, he could not enjoy all of them at one time. Krishna, however, enjoyed all of his 16,000 wives simultaneously. Although it may be said that the yogis can expand their bodies in many forms, the yogis' expansions and Lord Krishna's expansions are not the same. Krishna is therefore called Yogeshwar, the master of all yogis. In the Vedic literature, we find that the yogi, Subara Muni, expanded himself into 8. That expansion was like a television expansion. The television image is manifested in millions of expansions, but those expansions cannot act differently. They are simply reflections of the original, can only act as the original does. Krishna's expansion is not material, like the television of the yogi. When Narada visited different palaces, he saw that Krishna in his different expansions was variously engaged in each and every place with his queens. Okay, go on here. The dancing and tennis playing of the girls in the material world are perverted reflections of the original pastimes of the original personality of Godhead, Krishna and his wives. The roads and streets of Dwarka were always crowded with elephants, horses, chariots, and infantry soldiers. When the elephants are engaged in service, they are given liquor to drink. It is said that the elephants in Dwarka were given so much liquor that they would sprinkle a great quantity of it on the road and walk on the streets intoxicated. Okay. And the soldiers look so beautiful. Yeah. There were nice fruit trees and flower trees everywhere in Dwarka. There was free fruit, free flowers, free nuts, sprouts, chirping birds and buzzing bees fully displayed all the opulence. Okay. What I'm looking for here is when you head here to the very end, because you haven't got a lot of time. Well, the queens were, these prayers with the queens are wonderful. Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay. Srila Sukadeva Swami has concluded the 90th chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam by pointing out 5 particular excellences of Krishna. Okay. The first excellence is that before Lord Krishna's appearance in the Yadu family, the Ganges was known as the purest of all living things. Even impure things could be purified simply by touching the water of the Ganges. The super excellent power of the Ganges waters was due to having emanated from the toe of Lord Vishnu. But when Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of God, had appeared in the family of the Yadu dynasty, he traveled personally throughout the kingdom of the Yadus. And with his intimate association with the Yadus, the whole dynasty, whole family, not only became very famous, but also became more effective in purifying others in the waters of the Ganges. Okay, so different excellences. So much to read. I'm looking where it's just actually probably describing the Krishna book. It's a, wow, big chapter. Okay. Okay, here we go. Following in the holy footsteps of Srila Sukadeva Goswami, we have tried to present this book, Krishna, for being read and heard by the conditioned souls of this age. By hearing the pastimes of Lord Krishna, one is sure and certain to get salvation and be transferred back home, back to Godhead. It is stated by Sukadeva Goswami that as we hear the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, we gradually cut the knots of material contamination. Therefore, regardless of what one is, if one wants the association of Lord Krishna in the transcendental kingdom of God for eternity in blissful existence, one must hear about the pastimes of Lord Krishna and chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So you got to read the Krishna book and chant Hare Krishna. The transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, are so powerful that simply by hearing and reading and memorizing, got there? Hearing, reading, and memorizing this book, Krishna, one is sure to be transferred to the spiritual world. So why do we need other books? Which is ordinarily very difficult to achieve. A description of the pastimes of Lord Krishna is so attractive that it automatically gives us an impetus to study repeatedly. And the more we study the pastimes of the Lord, the more we become attached to him. This very attachment to Krishna makes one eligible to be transferred to his abode, Loka Vrindavan. As we have learned from the previous chapter, to cross over the material world is to cross over the stringent laws of material nature. The stringent laws of material nature cannot be checked for the progress of one who is cannot check the progress of one who is attracted by the spiritual nature. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita by the Supreme Lord himself. Srila Sukadeva Goswami has therefore advised Maharaj Parikshit in the beginning of the second canto that every conditioned soul should engage himself in hearing and chanting the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Sukadeva Goswami also informed Maharaj Parikshit that many of the kings became so successful by this process. In India, it is still the practice that many advanced transcendentalists give up their families and go to Vrindavan to live there alone and completely engaged in hearing and chanting the holy pastimes of the Lord. System is recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam. 6 Goswamis followed it. Present morning, many karmis and Sudha devotees have overcrowded the holy place. Okay. To imitate the process. Former kings used to go there, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur does not recommend that one take up his solitary life in Vrindavan prematurely. If we take it up prematurely, we'll again become fall victim of Maya. Okay. Many Babajis probably said are fakers. Srila Sukadeva Goswami's recommendation to leave home and go to the forest in search of Krishna is not for an immature person. Maharaj Parikshit was mature. Even in household life as a child, he was worshiping the deity of Krishna. And his childhood, and later, although he was a householder, he was always detached, and therefore, when he got the notice of his death, he then gave up all connection with household life and sat on the bank of the Ganges to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and the association of devotees. Listen to Bhaktivedanta purport of the 90th chapter of Krishna, summary description of Lord Krishna's pastimes. So Prabhupada says that especially for Grihastha ashram, he says, for a Grihastha who does not install the deity in the house and worship him according to his means, he said he's 100% guaranteed to fall down. Okay. So a sannyasi brahmachari may have relatively less opulence, and so then they can Radha Krishna Hridayete Sarvadasya Vive. They can engage in more manasa puja, worshiping Krishna in the heart, like that, And in either case, the effect is the same. And one becomes attached to Krishna, and then one does his responsibility in the world as a businessman or a scientist or Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or student, or so on. But the idea, is that this formally it's nice, It's a formality, but it's not a meaningless formality to adopt this Vanaprastha situation, and in front of even the sannyas situation, Prabhupada said it's a difficult situation for the husband and the wife, But he said if one accomplishes this and learns how to take full shelter of Krishna and never feel any inconvenience, then he says return to the spiritual world is guaranteed. Of course, the essence of sannyas and civil widow is becoming absorbed in the Krishna book. Even if we have to sit down under a tree next to the bank of the river here in Murphy's, but there's a nuclear war, everything is destroyed. I have no problem. I always think about that, I'll just walk over as I go to Sundar's house, and we can all go sit down next to the river and drink whatever contaminated water is there and chant Hare Krishna. Mr. King can come by with and join us, And okay, you drink water, chant Hare Krishna, and you become very quickly. It's amazing how quickly you become detached from things if you want to. It was 6 hours of kirtan, 7 hours of chanting like that, it's so potent, especially if you're not eating or anything else, So we have it with such a jewel. Prabhupada gives us the Krishna book, and we're trying to develop a little bit of a systematic study here with our walking partner. Every evening we go walking with Dr. Ravi Prakash Singh. They see us out there in the street. They say, "Oh, there's Dr. Singh with one of his people from the mental hospital. He's all dressed up in pink robes," like that. And so we can we start now. We're on. Rukmini is praying for Shishupal, and for Shishupal, for Rukmi, that Krishna won't kill him. And so tomorrow we're going to hear about Lord Balaram coming up and chastising Krishna for not treating. It seems like he's being sarcastic. Poor Rukmi. He really liked Rukmini. He thought that Shishupal was a better husband for her than Krishna. He really thought that. Yeah. Okay. So Prabhupada Ki Jai. Any questions or comments? Okay. We'll stop sharing. Nobody wants to share back to us. Okay. We'll go offer some hot milk to Krishna like that. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
We have question. We have a question, Maharaj.
Okay, what is the question?
Go ahead.
Maharaj, the question is, you said brahmacharis and sannyasis can offer manas puja, that'll be acceptable. But the chances for the grahasthas to fall down is a lot more?
Yes, because there's a bodily concept of life. Bodily concept, this is my wife, this is my children, this is my car, this is my house, this is my dog, this is my can opener, this is my can, this is my sink. So Prabhupada says a sannyasi may become attached to a certain temple with a few things that are the possessions of a sannyasi, Actually, I'm a little depressed because I have such really nice traveling paraphernalia. I really got it down. I was really kind of very proud about how simple I was, And so I'm depressed now because I can't go and show off my multi-use bag and all this kind of stuff, But in Grihastha ashram, it's just the way it is. It's just more that way. Okay, so no problem. You worship the deity, and then you're on the same level as the sannyasi.
Right.
But Maharaj, don't the grahasthas have a lot more responsibility than the sannyasis and the grahasthas? I mean, brahmachari. I was listening to a lecture And he was saying that because the grahasthas, the responsibility of the grahasthas is to take care of the sannyasis and the brahmacharis, plus the family and the deities and everything.
Yeah.
So for them to fall down faster than the other two.
No, but that's the responsibility in terms of social and physical responsibilities, you know. But Prabhupada says it's a responsibility of the sannyasis to make sure that they're very good classes. And that takes work. You got to do research. You got to make them interesting. You got to look up references and that kind of stuff. And because we're being supported by the community here, we can do that. We do maybe like five PowerPoint shows a week, for an hour and a half, and classes all over the world. But we couldn't do that if we also had to take care of our physical responsibilities. So that that's it. So Grihastha ashram is more responsibility for the physical necessities. Anybody can be a pure devotee in any situation. Yeah.
Okay, any other question or comment for Maharaj? We started with a very controversial issue right here. Anyone else has any comments?
I have a comment. Okay.
No.
Narottam Das Thakur said, if you chant Hare Krishna, it doesn't matter whether you're a grihastha or a sannyasi. And he said, if you don't chant Hare Krishna, it doesn't matter whether you're a grihastha or a sannyasi.
Yeah. So any other comment from Maharaj or any other question? No.
How many elephants are there in Dwarka?
So my question is that why so much importance on Krishna book? Why not Bhagavad Gita, the ABC, A of the spiritual life?
Well, everybody, that's the whole thing, is that the Prabhupada's books are unlimited. Spiritual world is unlimited, And so, if we're becoming purified, then different combination of literature is good. Somebody asked Prabhupada, why do we have to follow so many different rules and regulations, chant on beach, chant during kirtan, all these kind of things? If what do you call it? If the chanting is purifying in any circumstance. And Prabhupada said, it's like eating. If you eat, there will always be a reaction. But he said, if you eat properly, there'll be a faster reaction, better reaction. Okay, so 20 minutes of kirtan, 20 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of japa, with maybe 4 or 5 people on Janmashtami. You can go on hour after hour after hour like that. It's just amazing. And the 20 minutes of kirtans for your body, the 20 minutes of reading is for your intelligence, and the 20 minutes of japa then is focus, meditation, concentration, and then you're off. So there is, in the Krishna book is the essence, but you see, Prabhupada, in the Krishna book, it's full of Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? I mean, how many citations for the Bhagavad Gita are there in the Krishna book?
Quite a few, Maharaj.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada said that this is a summary study, so I can do whatever damn thing I like to do.
Yeah. Even the gopis, when they start to think about Krishna, the first thing they think about are his lotus feet. But they have much more intense relationship with his lotus feet.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Tantavika Das. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Yeah.
Well, Maharaj, I am more attached to the Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 6 and 7, especially the first 10 chapters of the Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 7. So, which one is better, Maharaj? Okay, can I go and read more and more on this chapter, or we want to focus on chapter 10, what you are talking right now?
No, again, it's what we're saying is that everybody's in a, what's he say? Was it? Yayatamam prapajante tamstataiva bhajamyaham. Lord Chaitanya was, as a youth, Nimai was trying to convince Murari Gupta to give up worshiping Ram and worship Krishna. And he was arguing. So finally, then Murari Gupta came back. He was, I guess, he was like a big boy, and Lord Chaitanya like a little boy. They would go to school together, And he would say, he said, please kill me. Huh? He said, I know who you are. You're the Supreme Lord himself. And I can't disobey your order. But all night long, I tried to give up the worship of Raghupati. I just can't do it. So, so please just kill me. And Lord Chaitanya started laughing like a madman and he said, of course you can't. You're an incarnation of Hanuman. I'm just teasing you like that. You know? So yeah, even the Ram Leela is so nice, and even Radha and Krishna like to play it forever. You know, so much fun, they never stop it. So in Vrindavan, where is it? It's Kamyavan is where Ram Leela takes place in Vrindavan, eternally going on. You know? So Sukadev Goswami says, no, Ramananda Roy says that from a neutral position you can say, oh, this is more intense, this is better, blah 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 blah. And he said, but who's in a neutral position? Everybody's in their position. So he said, the best rasa is your rasa. And you go on developing it, then automatically you'll include all the rest of the rasas. You know, they'll all be included like that. You know, Hanuman is involved in Madhurya Ras, you know, with Ram and Sita. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, whatever attraction you have is nice, you know. And you know, it's again, Prabhupada's purports is this. The purports, he includes Bhagavad Gita, he includes so many things like that. So I think there's almost no harm if you're attracted to reading something, just to go ahead reading that and studying it, you know, and automatically that will guide you to any other kind of study you need.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay.
Any other question from Maharaj? It's getting a little late for Maharaj, so have any question, please quickly ask.
My face is starting to shrink.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, mate.
Please accept my humble obeisance, salvation, Prabhupada. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj, for your association. I have one question about the Yadu dynasty.
Oh my God.
Where you read that Yadu dynasty is purer than Ganga. I'm curious, Krishna actually took away Yadu dynasty before he left because he didn't feel it may be good. And another question is, are there examples of people who are purified by Yadu dynasty? Like we have example Ganga purifying, you know, Bhagirath bringing Ganga and purifying his ancestors like that. So for when Yadu dynasty is glorified like this, are there examples, Guru Maharaj?
I can't think. Well, I mean, one example might be like, you know, Satrajit. You know, he lived within the jurisdiction of Dwarkadam, and he was a great worshiper of the sun god and so forth, so on. You know, but he was involved in all those pastimes, so that maybe he also became purified of his attachment to the celestial pleasures and celestial satisfactions. But other than that, I can't think of any example immediately. There's Kubja. she became perfect by association with Krishna directly. Yeah. Banasura, maybe he had so many arms and everything else, but when he saw that Aniruddha was consorting with Usha, his daughter, everything else, and he became purified. But again, all these stories I'm telling, they're interesting because the contact with the Yadu dynasty leads people to Krishna. You know, so that might also be the actual fact. Is in themselves they're very powerful. You know, yeah. But then they lead people to Krishna. Akrura was so powerful; he was the commander in chief of the Maharaj Ugrasena, so he could talk on a pure level with Dhritarashtra. So he was talking sarcastically about him and everything else, and he was giving very purifying intelligence to him. Yeah. And Krishna took the Yadu dynasty back because they were becoming so powerful and everything else like that. So I don't know the details. And even the things like when they were pretending that Samba was pregnant, and then sages cursed them and stuff. So that's a little complicated pastime. How they were. Maybe Krishna was inspiring them to start being like a little arrogant and stuff. So that so he could give it as an excuse. Yeah. All
Yes.
very special people.
Yeah, while you're saying that, I remembered, I think when we read, probably in the first canto itself, when it says Yadu dynasty is a burden, I don't recall where, but now you're talking about it. I remember Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur saying, they are not burden for Mother Earth, just like a baby is not a burden for a pregnant woman, something like that.
Yeah. Two kind of burdens are not a burden. Okay, I guess we'll go because we're burning up data here. One time, our good organizer had a telephone number, and we called in. But now we're burning up data, so we should probably go too. So thank you all very much. Chant Hare Krishna, read the Krishna book, and drink hot milk, and dream of Krishna.
Krishna Maharaj.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Come on, guys.
Gidari Prabhu is back. Yeah. What?
Hare Krishna, Dandavad. What a wonderful.
Manjari, you said something? No. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, what a wonderful evening to be discussing about Krishna's pastimes, and that too from a self-realized person. It's you feel like you go on hearing this forever. I had a couple of points with respect to what Maharaj was sharing with respect to remembering about the Lord. So there was a devotee by name Narshingananda Brahmachari. This Narshingananda Brahmachari was a disciple of, or a very close follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Narshingananda Brahmachari was very poor. So he was one time, Mahaprabhu was going from Navadvip to Vrindavan. So Narshingananda Brahmachari had a very strong desire to travel with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he didn't have enough resources, or some personal condition did not allow him to travel with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he thought, how can I still serve him? So Narshingananda Brahmachari stayed at home. He knew the entire itinerary of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what he did was, every day he used to be, contemplating that now Mahaprabhu will be walking on this path. So he kind of desired whatever he wanted to offer and service to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He kept on meditating about that sitting at his home. I will, keep orchids on the way he travel. I will put flower petals on the that he walks. I will massage his feet. I will cook a very wonderful prasadam for him. I will wash his clothes, and various things like that. Interestingly, when Mahaprabhu came back from Vrindavan, he went to Narshingananda Brahmachari and said, "My dear friend, thank you so much that during the journey of Vrindavan, whatever arrangements you gave was so wonderful that I completely enjoyed it." So when Maharaj was mentioning that how we can even meditate on the pastimes of the Lord, and the Lord fully accepts them, even at our conditioned stage, that privilege Krishna is giving. So what to speak of, the wonderful mellow and rasa that a devotee would feel when he is in a self-realized stage. For sure, at least we can extrapolate this understand how much Sukadeva Goswami would feel choked up thinking about Srimati Radharani and wonderful activities of Vrindavan Dham. Actually, when Vasudeva saw Krishna appearing in the jail, he observed 4 wonderful things of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada writes in Srimad Bhagavatam those 4 wonderful things. He says, Lord Krishna was not afraid to appear in the prison. Nobody wants to take birth in the prison, but Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, the Krishna, he's choosing to take birth in the prison. So he didn't feel like, I'm, shameful or ashamed of that. So he was surprised that, Krishna is appearing in the prison. Second, the Lord appeared from the womb. He's Supreme Lord, but he's taking birth like any other child. Third, he's appearing from the womb fully decorated with the mukut and kundala and all wonderful abhushanas. For this, Vasudeva is seeing his own worshipable deity as his son. So this wonderful Krishna in our own lives also shows a lot of wonder. I mean, my personal 2 cents realization is this, that if we start loving Krishna beyond using Krishna, because many times we are very expert after hearing about Krishna a lot so far, we know how to use Krishna. We know what to give Krishna to take from Krishna for sure, because we know how Krishna is kind, how Krishna is merciful. So, and we have enough problems, so we know how to map this. Somebody is rich, I am poor, I need this, so how to go and ask things from rich person. We know this arithmetics very clearly. So Krishna is great, Krishna is supreme, Krishna is kind, and I have so and so problem. Go and ask Krishna, he will provide. But if we go one step forward and start loving Krishna and start expressing our love for Krishna, how much we have love for Krishna without anything to do with us. I mean, if we try to remove slowly, I mean, if 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, Krishna, this activity is for you and only for you. In return, I don't need anything. So this is only for you. Loving Krishna, like how a mother loves a child without anything in return, then that will be a very wonderful experience that we will all be able to get to move past in our Krishna consciousness journey. And when Mataji was asking the question that can a grahastha not be able to do that, I was remembering a point Bhaktivinoda Thakur is making, that if a grahastha follows the rules and regulations of a grahastha ashram and also performs his devotional life sincerely, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving a title to that person called Grahastha Brahmachari. Actually, he is using this word that typically a Grahastha ashram is a responsible ashram. At the same time, it is not an ashram where, I don't want to kind of sound Maharaj saying that Grahasthas are equally, capable to get there. But sure, we have a more trap because of social involvements, financial involvements, and other obligations. There are opportunity for us to get deviated as much. But then in spite of all of them, if somebody could stay focused and love Krishna to the perfect sense, then he will be classified as a Grahastha Brahmachari. So this wonderful Krishna, whom Srila Prabhupada has given us, and that Krishna consciousness movement, Srila Prabhupada writes in Krishna Consciousness, the topmost yoga system book, it is up to us how we take advantage of it, because it is no loss. There is no need for the Lord to be dependent on us, but it's absolute need for all of us to be dependent on the Supreme Lord. Sorry, hence it is extremely important for us to organize our life in such a way that we are dependent on Krishna and in a manner to love Krishna rather than to use him. And just one last point I want to share here based on this current context, where in one place Srila Prabhupada writes that anything that has not got connection with Krishna, as Maharaj was saying when Srinivas Prabhu was asking the question on Yadus. So because it is connected with Krishna, it is always glorious. So example I remember is about of a chandelier. So if a person buys a very costly chandelier and put all the decorative lights in his house and decorate the whole house, but if that is not powered up to the power source, this all will be like a plumes on the peacock feather. It's like an eyes which doesn't see the beauty of the Lord, the hands which doesn't serve the Supreme Lord, the legs that doesn't walk towards the temple of the Lord. They are all considered as a useless things, like a tree trunks. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam says. So I mean, at the end of it, after reading all the philosophy, going through all the detailed technical things in Nectar of Devotion, Bhagavatam, and this and that, finally when we sit together and hear some Krishna Katha, hearing about the wonderful activities of Krishna, even the stone will melt. Pasu paki jure phashana vitare suni char gunagata. Lokchan Das Thakur is singing that even Pashu Pakshi, everybody is enjoying hearing about your wonderful pastimes. Only my stone heart is not able to melt. So somehow please bestow your benediction so that such a stone heart can also melt. So on this wonderful assembly, I request you all to bless us so that someday this stone heart can also melt and enjoy the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So thank you so much for this opportunity to be part of the Sangha, and may we all enjoy this wonderful Sangha more and more in the days to come. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna. Anyone else that might want to make any comment? Otherwise, I'll ask Ahana and Ridhima to do the Narsinga prayer and conclude tonight's program, and then we meet tomorrow at 8 o'clock time. Any question? Last chance? Okay, Hare Krishna, Ahana, Ridhima, take over, please.
Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Praladanaadaine. Praladanaadaine. Hiranyakashipurvaksha. Hiranyakashipurvakshaः Shilatankanaye. Shilatankanaye. Ito narsingo parato narsingo. Ito narsingo parato narsingo. Yato yato yami tato narsingo. Yato yato yami tato narsingo. Bahe narsingo hridaye narsingo. Bahe narsingo hridaye narsingo. Narsingamadam sharana prapade. Narsingamadam sharana prapade. Tava kara kamalavare nakamadvuta shinga. Dalita hiranyakashipu tanuvringa. Keshavadvita narahari rupa. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Tava kar kamal vare nakamadvuta shinga. Dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringa. Keshavadrita narahari rupa. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Narsingadev, 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 Jaya Narsingadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, 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 Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jai Narsingh Bhagwan ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Anna and Ridhima. So tomorrow Vishnu Chan Prabhu release the Kirtan. Is that right? Are you hopefully you are not on call? Okay. So tomorrow we come back at 8 o'clock and the new schedule will be ready. And hopefully Manish Prabhu can get on his schedule when he can give a day and date when he wants to do it. So he can include, he can text me or text on the group or whatever. Like him to lead one day Kirtan too. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Krishna.
Krishna.